Okay, take a look at the date on your phone for just a second.
Yeah, it is Sunday, February 22nd, 2026.
Right. And if you have been anywhere near a screen or a newspaper, or frankly just standing around a water cooler in the last 2 months, you know exactly what is dominating the cultural conversation right now.
It is the story that simply refuses to die.
It really does.
It's like this ghost haunting the machinery of the entire Western world.
Yeah.
Just when you think it's been buried and the news cycle has finally moved on the ground, shifts.
And something terrifying comes bubbling right back up to the surface.
Exactly.
We are talking, of course, about the Epstein files, but I want to be very clear right off the top here. We are not talking about the stuff you heard back in 2019,
right,
or the bits and pieces that came out during the Maxwell trial. We are talking about the massive and honestly completely bizarre release of documents that has been trickling out over the last 8 weeks.
And then absolutely exploding.
It's exploding, yeah. And we need to set a ground rule for this deep dive today. Our mission is not to rehash the headlines everyone has already doom-scrolled past.
We aren't here to just list celebrities who took a plane ride. The stack of sources we have for this deep dive is, it's very different.
Totally different.
We're looking at leaked FBI documents, court transcripts that were previously sealed, investigative reports on something called the 1953 Trust.
Which is wild.
And all the breaking news in the last few weeks regarding the redactions.
And when you dig into this stack, the picture that emerges isn't just about a pervert on an island. It is so much stranger.
Way stranger.
We are talking about a mysterious trust fund established exactly 2 days before his death.
2 days.
A literal written plan to genetically engineer the human race.
Yep.
We're finding connections to time travel research at Ivy League universities, and of course the absolute fiasco that was the black ink scandal of late 2025.
That scandal alone, the black ink incident, it has completely reshaped how we look at government transparency. It turned a legal proceeding into a tech thriller.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because the narrative we are seeing now in early 2026 is very different from what we were promised a couple of years ago.
It is. To really understand the gravity of where we are today, this Sunday in February, we have to rewind the clock a bit. We need to look at the political maneuvering that got us here.
Right.
Because this release was not supposed to happen this way.
No, it wasn't. Let's go back to the 2024 election cycle. It feels like ancient history now, but do you remember the campaign trail?
Vividly. It was a central pillar of the discourse. One of Donald Trump's loudest promises during that 2024 campaign was total transparency regarding the Epstein files.
He was out there at rallies promising that the moment he took office, he would declassify everything.
No stone unturned.
Right. It was a very effective populist hook.
Absolutely.
He said he'd release the client list, he said he'd expose the corruption, and then January 2025 comes around.
He's back in the Oval Office.
The public is waiting, and then...
silence. Absolute radio silence.
Crickets.
And then the narrative shifted. By July 2025, the Justice Department makes this startling announcement. They claim that no, quote, client list, unquote, actually existed in the format people imagined.
Right.
They started refusing to release the broader files, citing privacy concerns for third parties.
Which is a massive U-turn from declassify everything. Looking at the press clippings from mid-2025, Trump's tone changed completely.
It really did.
He started calling the files boring in interviews. He called the whole thing a Democratic hoax designed to distract from his agenda.
He literally said the FBI should be focusing on vote fraud instead of this, quote, old news.
Old news, right. And again, we are just impartially reporting what the sources show here, but it's a classic political deflection.
But in this case, it backfired spectacularly. You can't promise a revelation of that magnitude and then deliver a redaction.
No, you really can't.
The pressure built up, and not just from the public, but from Congress. You had this weird coalition of progressives and libertarians demanding the truth.
And that leads us to the bipartisan bill in November 2025. Congress basically forced the administration's hand. They passed a bill mandating the release of these documents within 30 days.
Which brings us to December 19th, 2025, the day the release happened.
With massive air quotes around release.
Huge air quotes. Because what happened next is Well, it's embarrassing for the U.S. government.
The black ink scandal. I still struggle to wrap my head around how this is real life and not a scene from a sitcom.
It does sound like a joke. So the Department of Justice released thousands of pages of documents, but they were heavily redacted.
Right.
We're talking huge blocks of black ink covering names and dates and specific locations and flight logs.
Just black bars everywhere.
Right. And on the surface, it looked like they had complied with the law while protecting, quote, sensitive info. They claimed they were protecting the identities of victims and unrelated parties.
But they made a rookie mistake, a tech fail for the ages.
A catastrophic failure of digital hygiene.
Yeah.
Whoever was in charge of redacting these PDFs used simple Photoshop overlays. They basically drew black boxes over the text.
And this is the crucial part, they didn't flatten or burn the redactions into the document image.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on, explain that for the non-techies listening. You're saying the text was still there?
Think of it like putting a piece of tape over a word on a physical piece of paper, but the paper is digital.
Okay.
The computer still knows the word is underneath the tape. So almost immediately, I'm talking within minutes of the upload, internet sleuth realized that if you just highlighted the text with your cursor or copy-pasted the document into a word processor,
The black bars just disappeared.
or rather the text they were hiding was pasted as plain text. The names were right there. It wasn't a redaction at all. It was a digital sticker.
Wow.
And once people peeled it off, the floodgates opened. It was pandemonium online.
And what came out was, well, let's talk about the Trump frequency, because for a guy who called the files boring and old news, his name sure pops up a lot.
According to the data analysis of these unredacted files, Donald Trump's name appears over 6,000 times.
6,000.
Now we have to be nuanced and fair here as responsible analysts. Appearance in the files does not automatically equate to a crime.
Right, he was a famous New York billionaire. His name would obviously come up in conversation in those circles.
Exactly. But the sheer volume contradicts the narrative that they weren't close.
And it's not just flight logs or social chatter. There are specific disturbing allegations that were hidden under that ink. There was that report about the limo driver.
Right. This is from a 2020 FBI tip that was previously buried and heavily redacted. A limo driver alleged that in 1995 he was driving Trump and overheard him on a phone call.
And what was the call about?
The driver claims Trump was openly discussing assaulting a girl.
And that wasn't isolated, right? There was corroboration in the files.
There was a corroborating account from 1999, so 4 years later, from a female victim who described being recruited. Her description of the recruitment tactics aligned with details from that alleged phone call.
And then there's the letter. A letter discovered in the files from Epstein himself, written in 2019 while he was in jail awaiting trial. This is the one that really chills me. I have the exact quote here. He writes, quote, "Our president loves young girls too, but I'm in jail and he's in the White House," unquote.
It is a stunning glimpse into Epstein's psychology. He was comparing their situations directly. I'm in jail, he's in the White House.
Yeah.
It speaks to his mindset. He didn't feel like a criminal, he felt like a scapegoat. He felt he was being unfairly targeted for behavior he believed was normalized in his circle of elites.
And yet the Trump camp has always claimed they fell out in the 90s.
Yeah.
That he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago because Epstein hit on a staff member's daughter.
That's the official line we've heard for years. But the unredacted files give us a 2011 email from Epstein, and remember, this is more than a decade after the alleged falling out.
Right.
Where Epstein writes to an associate, quote, "Trump's issue hasn't come out yet," unquote.
Trump's issue hasn't come out yet. That sounds like leverage.
Yes.
That sounds like blackmail material.
It sounds exactly like leverage. And it contextualizes why the declassification might have been stalled in 2025. It's not necessarily about protecting enemies or the, quote, deep state. It might be about simple self-preservation.
Speaking of stalling and weird behavior, we have to talk about Elon Musk, because he got tangled up in this 2026 mess too.
He did. During the period when the delays were happening right before the forced release, Musk tweeted that the files weren't being released because they contained Trump's name.
Which was a very provocative statement, essentially accusing the president of a cover-up.
Right. And then, poof, gone. Deleted under mysterious pressure. And then, thanks to the black ink reveal, we see Musk's own name in the emails from 2012 and 2013.
Asking about the wildest party on the island.
Right. Now, Musk has publicly claimed he never went to the island, that he declined the invitations.
Which we have to note.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the email exchange shows a familiarity, a desire to be in that orbit. He's asking specifically about the wildest events. It complicates the hero of free speech narrative when you see the actual correspondence showing him flirting with that inner circle.
So we have a political cover-up that failed because of a Photoshop error that covers the who. But let's follow the money, because while everyone is looking at the famous names, the financial documents tell a much scarier story about the why.
Follow the money is the golden rule of investigative journalism for a reason. And in this case, the money trail leads us to a specific entity. The 1953 Trust.
This is one of those details that keeps me up at night. Let's look at the exact date, August 8th, 2019, 2 days before Epstein is found dead in his cell. What happens?
He executes a massive, complex financial maneuver. He transfers his entire estate, valued at roughly $577 million, into this newly created entity, the 1953 Trust. 1953 being the year of his birth.
2 days before he dies, that screams premeditation or preparation.
It certainly suggests he knew he wasn't going to be managing those assets personally much longer. But here is the critical part. By moving the assets into a trust domiciled in the U.S. Virgin Islands, he wasn't just organizing his checkbook. He was building a fortress.
How so? Explain the legal magic here for us.
A trust in the U.S. Virgin Islands offers immense privacy protection. Unlike a standard will, which becomes a public record upon death, a trust document is private.
Oh, wow.
Furthermore, it creates a legal barrier. If a victim wants to sue, they can't just sue the Epstein estate. They have to navigate the complex trusteeship of the 1953 Trust. It shields the assets behind layers of bureaucracy and privacy laws. It was a final act of defense against his victim.
And who gets the money? Who is inside this fortress?
The primary beneficiary listed is a woman named Karina Shuliak. She's a dentist identified in the files as his girlfriend at the time.
And she was the last person to speak to him on the phone before he died, right?
Yes. And she didn't just get a token amount.
No.
The unredacted documents show she received $50 million in liquid cash, extensive real estate holdings, and
Diamonds.
We are talking about a literal fortune handed over 48 hours before his death.
And there were others, right? The quote-unquote help.
His brother Mark, his pilots, and specific longtime employees like Darren Endyke and Richard Kahn.
Right.
These weren't just employees, they were the executors. They were the guys who knew where the bodies were buried, metaphorically and perhaps literally. They were the keepers of the secrets.
But here's where it gets really weird for us in 2026. The money didn't just sit there, it has been moving.
It has. After the lawsuits and the payouts to victims over the last few years, the estate's value reportedly dropped to around $40 million.
Which is still a lot, but a huge drop.
Right. It looked like the funds were drying up. But then in January 2025, just over a year ago, something miraculous happened.
Miraculous usually implies something good. In this context, it sounds highly suspicious.
The estate received a tax refund, a massive one, $112 million.
Wait. The U.S. government wrote the Epstein estate a check for $112 million in 2025, while everyone knows what this money was used for.
Yes. The IRS and the Treasury processed a refund based on overpayment of estate taxes and reevaluations of asset worth.
That is insane.
So as of early 2026, the 1953 Trust is holding roughly $145 million again. The war chest is back.
And it raises the question, why is this money still active? Who is pulling the strings to get a $100 million refund processed so quickly?
And we see the name Boris Nikolai popping up in the files as a backup executor. He's a biotech venture capitalist.
Which is a perfect bridge to the next layer of this onion. Because Epstein wasn't just hoarding money for yachts and private planes, he was hoarding it for something much more specific. He was obsessed with where that money came from and what it could buy in the world of science.
Right. We have to talk about how he got the money in the first place because the math doesn't add up. He was a high school math teacher who got fired. Then suddenly he's a billionaire.
The Wexner connection.
That is the key that unlocks everything. Leslie Wexner, the billionaire behind Victoria's Secret and The Limited. Somehow in the 1980s, Epstein obtained power of attorney over Wexner's entire fortune.
Entire fortune. Not just an investment account. Full control.
Full control. And the quote-unquote gift.
Oh.
The Manhattan Mansion.
The Herbert N. Strauss House. The largest private residence in Manhattan, valued at nearly $100 million at the time. Wexner transferred the deed to Epstein for $0.
Zero.
There is no world where that is a normal business transaction. You don't just give your accountant a $100 million house.
And then you have Leon Black, the head of Apollo Global Management. The documents show he paid Epstein $158 million. The explanation given: tax advice.
$158 million for tax advice. I mean, I use TurboTax. It cost me $50.
Black claims XT's strategies saved him $600 million. But in the world of high finance, you don't pay a single individual $158 million for advice unless that advice is extremely proprietary.
Or unless it's not for advice at all.
Exactly. It feels like laundering, or paying dues, or blackmail payments masked as fees.
So he accumulates this massive fortune from these titans of industry. But let's get to what he wanted to do with all this cash, because this is the part that sounds like a sci-fi horror movie. We are talking about the seed.
This is where we leave the realm of financial crime and enter the realm of eugenics and transhumanism. The files revealed that Epstein wasn't just a predator. He was a man who believed he was genetically superior to the rest of the human race.
He had a specific plan for his ranch in New Mexico, right? Zorro Ranch. 8,000 acres in the middle of the desert.
The baby factory. That's what he called it in private conversations. The plan was to impregnate 20 women at a time at the ranch. He wanted to seed the human race with his own DNA.
It's repulsive.
He viewed himself as a superior being, and he believed he had a moral obligation to spread his genetic code.
It's narcissistic on a galactic scale, but he wasn't just talking to himself about this. He was emailing world-class scientists.
That's the disturbing part. He wasn't a crackpot shouting on a street corner. He was in deep with the academic elite. He had email exchanges with scientists like Joshua Bach and shockingly Noam Chomsky.
And the topics, they weren't about donation checks. They were about scientific racism.
Epstein argued in these emails that black people's genes could be modified. He was looking for a way to improve their, quote, working memory or intelligence through genetic engineering.
Playing God.
He essentially wanted to play God and fix races he viewed as inferior. It's straight-up eugenics wrapped in the language of modern biotech.
And he was looking at women the same way. Not as people, but as biological machinery.
Exactly. He was discussing with Nathan Wolfe, a renowned professor at Stanford, about creating a female Viagra, but not for enjoyment or liberation, for efficiency.
Wow.
He wanted to genetically engineer female sex drives to serve his purposes, to make them more compliant, more available.
And Ghislaine Maxwell was involved in this breeding program, too.
There is a 2007 email, and this is crucial because she claims she was out of his life by then. In this email, she discusses a fertility procedure. It suggests she and Epstein were planning a surrogacy.
And the implication based on the context of the surrounding documents is that they might have intended to use a victim, Virginia Droof, as the vessel.
Yes.
It's sickening. It turns the abuse into something systematic and industrial. But his obsession went beyond just making babies. He wanted to cheat death entirely.
Transhumanism. He wanted to live forever. He was emailing Martin Nowak at Harvard about the biological consequences of time travel.
Time travel, actual time travel. Was he delusional?
In the theoretical physics sense, yes, but he was looking for biological applications. He was emailing David Gowan-Brancher at Yale, a computer science legend, about, quote, experiences that allow time travel to the past.
Interesting.
He seemed to believe that if you could manipulate the genome or the quantum state of the brain, you could revert the body to a younger state. Or perhaps simulate the past perfectly.
And he was paying for this, right? This wasn't just idle chat over drinks.
He put his money where his mouth was. He paid for experimental gene sequencing at Massachusetts General Hospital. It cost $200,000. He wanted to edit his own genome to extend his life. He genuinely thought he was too important to die.
And here's where it gets really interesting or terrifying. There are rumors in the files about a secret child.
Yes, this is one of the most explosive fragments in the release. There is a diary entry from a victim that was recovered in the raid. She taped a pregnancy scan into the diary.
An ultrasound.
Right. The entry implies Epstein was the father, and ominously she writes that the baby was taken away.
Taken away. And then there's the email from Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York.
She sends him an email congratulating him on a baby boy. Now the context is missing. It could be a code, could be a reference to a new puppy. But given the baby factory context, given the surrogacy emails, it hangs there like a dark cloud. Was there a successful experiment?
So we have a guy who wants to live forever, breed a super race, and has unlimited money. But how did he stay out of jail for so long? That brings us to the intelligence angle, the spy who blackmailed me.
This is the theory that ties the money, the science, and the politics together.
Yeah.
Was Jeffrey Epstein a businessman who broke the law? Or was he an intelligence asset?
We have Ari Ben-Menashe, a former Israeli intelligence officer. He's been very vocal about this.
For those who don't know, Ben-Menashe is a controversial figure. He was a deep insider in Israeli intelligence in the 80s. He claims on the record that Epstein and Maxwell were part of a honey trap operation run by Mossad.
Run by Israeli intelligence.
Yes. The goal was to gather blackmail on powerful global figures to ensure they remained friendly to certain geopolitical interests.
And the connection is right there. Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell,
Was a titan. He was a meaty tycoon. But after his mysterious death at sea, he was given a hero's funeral in Israel. It's widely accepted now that he was a Mossad asset. It's a family business.
And then you have Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel.
The logs show him visiting Epstein 30 plus times, even when Epstein was a convicted felon. You don't visit a disgraced sex offender 30 times just to talk about the weather. You go there because there's business to discuss.
The blackmail theory makes total sense when you look at the infrastructure of his houses. The cameras.
The 170 cameras. We're not talking about security cameras on the front gate to catch a burglar. We're talking about pinhole cameras inside the house.
The pilot, Larry Visosky, testified about this during the trial.
He said Epstein had him buy micro cameras from a spy shop in New York. And where did he put them? Inside Kleenex boxes.
In the bedrooms.
In the bathrooms. Exactly. You put a tissue box on the bedside table. It's the perfect vantage point. And there is a specific email in the files that chills me to the bone. Someone, an associate, warns Epstein to be discreet with the cameras, adding, quote, "The Russians may come in handy," unquote.
The Russians may come in handy.
It suggests the footage wasn't just for Epstein's personal collection or voyeurism. It was a commodity. Was he trading it? Was he sending it to foreign intelligence services? It reframes the entire operation. It wasn't a sex trafficking ring that got out of hand. It might have been an intelligence gathering operation from day one.
And that brings us to the American side of the cover-up, Bill Barr,
the Attorney General at the time of Epstein's death. But the connection goes back way further.
His dad, Donald Barr.
Donald Barr was the headmaster at the Dulles School, a prestigious prep school in New York. He is the man who hired Jeffrey Epstein, a college dropout, with no degree to teach calculus and physics to elites. But it gets weirder.
Buck.
In the 1970s, Donald Barr wrote a sci-fi novel called Space Relations.
I looked this up when I saw the source material because I just didn't believe it. The plot is insane.
The plot of the book concerns an intergalactic empire ruled by wealthy elites who purchase teenagers and enslave them for breeding purposes.
You cannot make this up. The father of the Attorney General who oversaw Epstein's death wrote a book about an empire that does exactly what Epstein was doing at Zorro Ranch.
It is a staggering coincidence if you believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
And Bill Barr himself in the intelligence community is known as the cover-up general.
Right.
His history goes back to the CIA in the 70s, the Iran-Contra pardons. He's the guy you call to make problems go away. The fact that he was AG when the most high-value prisoner in American history committed suicide is a massive red flag.
Okay, let's talk about the people in the Black Book, the associates. Because the codes they use in the emails are starting to really make sense.
We've seen the emails now, and the linguistic patterns, the code words are consistent and disturbing.
Let's start with whoops.
The word whoops appears over 400 times in the correspondence. And look at the context. It's never, whoops, I dropped the glass.
No.
It's used after hearing a potential witness died, or after a woman was assaulted. It seems to be a callous, dismissive code for problem eliminated or act committed. It trivializes the horror.
And the food codes. Pizza and grape soda.
Appearing over 900 times. Let's go for pizza and grape soda in contexts that clearly aren't about lunch. These are classic pedophile code words that have been flagged by the FBI and other online investigations. The fact that high society billionaires were using them in emails is damning.
And the names associated with these codes, we mentioned Trump, but the list is so much weirder and broader. Stephen Hawking.
There were photos of him on the island at a barbecue.
What is Stephen Hawking, the world's smartest man, doing on a pedophile island?
It goes back to Epstein's obsession with science. He wanted to be near genius. He likely funded some of Hawking's research or care. It shows that Epstein used his money to buy credibility. If Stephen Hawking is at your party, you look legitimate.
And Woody Allen.
His name appears 7,000 times in the files. Not just once or twice, 7,000. Epstein helped his daughter get into college. It shows how deeply embedded Epstein was in the cultural elite. He wasn't on the fringe, he was the center.
And the wellness gurus. Deepak Chopra.
Thousands of mentions.
Peter Attia, the longevity doctor who is huge on podcasts right now.
This one is fascinating. Attia admits in an email to having withdrawal from XU's presence. He says, quote, "The life you lead is so outrageous, and yet I can't tell a soul."
Wow.
It speaks to the addictive nature of the power Epstein projected. He made these people feel special chosen.
And royalty. We know about Prince Andrew.
The Duke. requesting private time at Buckingham Palace.
But the Queen!
This was a shocker in the new files. Epstein's team was trying to get Queen Elizabeth to endorse Harvey Weinstein's movie, The King's Speech.
Which is just bold.
It shows the sheer audacity. They thought they could manipulate the British monarch. They thought they were untouchable. Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway is in there too, calling him a sweetheart.
And Richard Branson. The email about the harem.
Branson sent an email explicitly asking Epstein to bring his harem to the island. He later claimed he meant the staff, or it was a joke. But the word choice, harem, it revealed how these men viewed the women around Epstein. They knew.
Speaking of the island, let's go there. Little St. James, the infrastructure of abuse.
It wasn't just a vacation home. It was a facility. It was designed for control.
The temple, that blue and white striped building on the hill that everyone has seen the drone footage of.
It looked like a temple on the outside. But inside, the FBI raids found it was largely unfinished. There were yellow shrink-wrapped mattresses on the floor and a zodiac mural on the ceiling.
What was it for?
We don't know for sure. But the isolation, the mattresses, it suggests ritual or systematic abuse away from the main house. It was a place where things happened that couldn't happen anywhere else.
And the trapdoor.
There was a door leading directly to the water cistern or the ocean. Speculation is rampant. Was it for disposal? Was it for drainage? It adds a layer of physical menace to the architecture. You're in a room with the trapdoor. You know there is no escape.
And then there's the word cannibal.
It appears 52 times in the files.
52 times.
References to jerky and emails that sparked all those online rumors. Now, I want to be the voice of reason here. There was a restaurant in New York called Cannibal. It could be innocent. Maybe he just liked their steak tartare.
But given everything else, given the space relations book, the breeding programs, the dehumanization, the frequency is highly suspicious.
It leaves a very bad taste in your mouth. No pun intended.
Right. And the ritual sacrifice allegation.
The 2019 FBI interview. A witness claimed to see a sacrifice on a yacht in 2000. It's unverified, but it's in the files. It's part of the official record of investigation. It suggests that for some in this circle, the abuse might have had an occult or ritualistic component.
The decor in his house supports this dark vibe, too. The table with the crying babies.
Life-size dolls of crying babies attached to the legs of a table. A mannequin hanging from the ceiling in a flight suit. A mural of himself in prison, painted before he ever went to prison.
He knew. He always knew how it would end.
The household manual confirms the control. See nothing, hear nothing policy for staff. AC at 60 degrees, freezing cold, keeping everyone on edge, physically uncomfortable, guns in the bedside drawers. It was a prison disguised as a paradise.
So how did it end? Or did it end? The death.
Right, so we're looking back at August 2019, and the timeline just does not hold up.
Let's walk through the final days. July 23rd, the first suicide attempt or assault, depending on who you ask.
Epstein is found in his cell with marks on his neck. His cellmate is Nicholas Tartaglione. And now, for those who don't know, this guy wasn't a jaywalker. He was a former cop facing the death penalty for a quadruple homicide. A massive, intimidating figure. Epstein claims he was assaulted.
So they put him on suicide watch?
For 6 days.
Yeah.
That's against protocol. You don't take a high-value target, the most famous prisoner in the world, off suicide watch that fast.
Then August 9th, the day before he dies.
They remove the cellmate. He is alone.
And that night.
The guards fall asleep. Both of them. The cameras malfunction. It is the perfect storm of incompetence, or the perfect storm of coordination.
And the footage we did get.
Wired magazine did a breakdown of this recently. The released hallway video wasn't just glitchy. It was missing 3 minutes of footage. It was trimmed.
Someone edited the tape before releasing it.
That is the implication. You don't lose 3 specific minutes by accident.
And the autopsy, Dr. Michael Baden.
Legendary pathologist. He was hired by Epstein's brother to observe the autopsy. He found a broken hyoid bone. In an elderly man, a broken hyoid is very rare in a hanging. It is classic in homicidal strangulation. Baden has been saying this for years. The physical evidence points to murder.
But why then? Why that night?
Because of the cooperation theory. The files reveal that days before his death, Epstein's lawyers met with prosecutors. They were discussing cooperation.
She was going to talk?
He was ready to name names. He was ready to burn the house down to save himself. And that made him an immediate liability to the people in the Black Book.
Yeah.
The people with the cameras in their bedrooms. The people who paid him $158 million.
So he had to go.
He had to go.
So here we are, 2026. The ink is black, but we can see through it. The money is back in the trust. The politicians are still fighting about who knew what.
And that's the real takeaway of this deep dive. It's not about a dead criminal. It's about the network that survived him.
The network is still here.
The redactions prove it. If these people were gone, if they were powerless, the names would be out. The fact that the ink is still there, Photoshop fail or not, proves that the people involved are still holding the levers of power today.
It's a nexus: intelligence gathering, financial fraud, scientific extremism, global power.
It's all connected. It's a shadow world that operates just beneath the surface of the one we live in.
I want to leave you with one final thought, something for you to really mull over today.
Go for it.
We talked about the seed experiments, the Zorro Ranch baby factory. We know he wanted to impregnate 20 women at a time. We know he had the scientists, the money, and the will.
And we have the cryptic emails about baby boys and scans.
Right. If those experiments actually happened, even partially, are there children out there right now? Children who are 5, 6, 7 years old today, who don't know they are part of Epstein's transhumanist legacy.
Children carrying the DNA of a monster designed to be a superior race. It's a terrifying thought. Are they being watched? Are they being studied?
And where is that $145 million in the 1953 trust going right now? Is it funding their tuition?
We'll keep watching the money. And we'll keep watching the black ink.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Stay curious and stay critical.